On this week's episode of Devil's Trap Podcast, we might have come up with our next band name. What is it?
Cat Skulls?
Detachable Boob?
Ironic Werewolf. Let's do this.
Welcome to this week's episode of Devil's Trap Podcast. I'm Diana.
And I'm Liz.
And we're going to talk season 11, episode 13, Love Hurts.
Ooh.
Well, what have you been up to, Liz?
Oh, not a whole lot. Just working on a house remodel and also bringing this crazy screaming goat in here. And he's screaming right into the microphone for all of you. He's pretty amazing. I bought him for my mom, and I let her have him for for a week or two after. Well, I bought him in the hospital when my mom was in the hospital, and so I feel like it entertained her enough. I also found it back in the box in the house, so I figured she was probably maybe entertaining herself too much with the screaming goat. So Halloween is in full sale. Actually, they're starting to put
Christmas
out, but you can still get some Halloween stuff if you hurry.
Right? I mean, it's only the beginning of September. What are you doing?
Why didn't you already buy your Halloween stuff? I'm just looking for home decor. Really, is most of the time. I'm just like, oh, thank you for putting out.
It's year-round home decor, not Halloween decor. To be clear.
But also people do put out some special things,
they do.
Yeah, Anthropologie has some pretty good. No, West Elm has some good spooky plates. I need to replace my spooky animal plates. So those are on sale. So I'm going to try and get some of those. But yeah, just getting ready for spooky season, and which is now we're in September, so it's spooky season. Yeah,
there we go.
Here you go. And what about you?
I went out 2 nights in a row like a crazy person. I went to I went to a comedy show. It was pretty fun with some friends, and then I went to 2 concerts in one night. I did one of my runarounds. I got to see this country singer named Hannah Juanita, and then I went and saw there was a really cool fundraiser for Amplified Minds with a band called Cure for Paranoia. It's like a hip hop band. It's a rap, but it's like a full band. It's really fucking cool. Yeah. They're so good. Anyways, so that was my exciting weekend, and I'm getting ready to go out of town. Time for Nashville, my annual trip.
Yeehaw.
Literally. So,
good
but
times. Yeah. And other things. So they have the video from the Jensen and Jared panel is up on YouTube. Well, from Austin. I mean, the only city that I care about, really. But so I recommend going and watching that from the Creation convention from August. Whatever. I finally watched it all the way through and did determine that the Austin convention will be in November 2026, which is nice because we cannot sweat as much. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there is a possibility it will be 90 degrees because it is Texas, but slightly better chance that we could take pictures and not be sweating. So looking forward to that, and Jensen just looks swole as fuck right now. Mm-hmm. And he was like, oh, it's like I have a keg belly. I'm like, no, dude, you look like you work out, wake up, eat protein bar, work out, that's what he's size is swole. But they just started shooting Von Rising. I can't say Vought. But so they just started filming that, so that's pretty exciting. And also, I noticed that the person who directed this episode, I'm going to tie this all in, who is also a producer on The Boys, which will be coming out soon, Phil Scriccia, was also producing and directing some of the new episodes of Twisted Metal, which were fantastic, and I really want to be a doll. So if you have not watched Twisted Metal,
I've only watched the first season still. I need to watch it.
Oh no, you need to catch up. Yeah. Like, and I'll just spoil it. There's like bitches, it's, the girl group from the first one. Well, they get better in the second one. And there's a whole new girl group of like people like just riding on top of things that are on fire, which is like what I'm hoping to take my pictures of in a couple of weeks in the desert. But just like, there's just girls riding on, basically it's like Mad Max Furiosa type stuff. And it's just inspiring. We're just preparing me for my future life, of like, this is how when, my good apocalypse finally comes, because whatever happened in 2020 is bullshit. When my good apocalypse where I finally get to like have my flamethrower on top of my Jeep. So Phil Scotia will get you there. So he directed this, and the title of this was Love Hurts, and so they say it is a reference to the song of this song by the Everly Brothers, but I don't think so. Then they're like, well, it was covered by Nazareth. I'm like, yes, that is true. Mm-hmm. And then it was also used in episodes of season 6, episode 14, Mannequin 3, The Reckoning, which coincidentally was also written by this week's writers, Eric Carmelo and Nicole Snyder. So that, and we saw Phil Scotia this season with Form Void, which was episode 2, and Nicole and Eric, we saw them do episode 7. So, and that was Plush. Oh yeah. Also, one thing on the panel with Jensen and Jared, they were talking kind of about their favorite episodes and other things. And one of the people got up and was talking about how the episode with Scully, the Just My Imagination episode that we just covered, like how important that was for their family who had schizophrenia, and kind of learning about like this different reality world that exists, and how like it was just this really touching moment about using supernatural as like this metaphor for their life that just kind of made it a little bit better. And then they started talking about this week's episode. So I thought that was pretty cool. So
that is cool.
Yeah. All right. So we start off Valentine's Day, maybe not this week's episode, or some episode that was around here. I told you we got sound bites for something. So some recent episode in the season they talked about. All right. So yay, Jensen and Jared, I guess.
Yeah, Valentine's Day in Hudson, Ohio. And we've got the song Heartbreak by the James Hunter Six playing, which is a really good band. Anyways. And we've got, his husband and wife, or what we know that we find out it's husband and wife. She's straightening his tie, their kiss, their doorbell rings. They're getting ready for a date, clearly, on Valentine's.
And the wife is pissed because they know, like, whoever is ringing this doorbell is going to wake up Tegan.
Yes.
That is such a 2016 fucking kid's name. You're going to wake up Tegan. And
which, funny enough, I'm going to go in spoiler. We never meet Tegan or see Tegan.
No, thankfully Tegan, I think, is hopefully
Tegan is at mom's house for this whole.
She goes to grandma's.
Thank God. But
I don't know. Grandma raised Melissa, so he lets Stacy in downstairs, right? And
husband.
Stacy does like not a realistic apology for the doorbell. She's like, sorry, I remember, like right when I go in there, and then she starts like making out with this dude, and then shits on the mom lipstick, and I'm like, fuck you, Stacy, you fucking homewrecker. Like, and normally I'm not like, I don't know, I'm not blaming the side of cheaters who are in the relationship, and not like definitely not gonna let this fucktard off the hook, but I can't stand Stacy.
No, she's not likable. She's not likable at all. And she wants him to tell his wife what is going on. And he's like, but it's Valentine's, because he's a bitch too. And then she's like, and he tries to be like, we've been together for a long time. We've got a house, a baby, a life. And she's like, yeah, that's what I want.
Yeah, and then I'm like, okay, well, at least you're honest and been saying that this is what you want, you thieving little cunt. But he, like, you have a baby. Like, oh my God, you gross little shit. I'm sorry, everyone. This is just, we're not really just me pissing on them the whole but this is just a lot. And so I viscerally want to claw her eyes out in this next scene, right? And so, because Stacey like going through and is like, I'm gonna do an ultimatum, and she is like, tell her tonight. And he's like, or what? And I'm like, well, and then Melissa comes into the room and this little bitch has the audacity to tell her she looks pretty and that she likes her lipstick.
This bitch.
100% that bitch, and not in a good way. Like, man, fuck you, Stacey. And so the couple leaves, and Stacey's there by herself, making herself a snack, right? Yeah. And the TV shows she's surfing through, one shows Your Pretty Face is Going to Hell. So Henry Sobrowski from the last podcast on the left, who I love, is on there. So like one of the people who I listened to obsessively was on a TV in an episode of Supernatural that I'm doing a podcast on. It is very meta for me. Yeah. And then there also was Neon Joe Werewolf Hunter episode Bark Bark Yum Yum. Oh, Your Pretty Face is Going to Hell was True Love Will Find You. And the Rick and Morty episode is Rick Potion number 9. So all those episodes revolve around the concept of love.
Okay. Yeah, and she's clearly being stalked by someone outside the house while she's doing this. While she's flipping channels and having a snack. And there's clearly a nanny cam in the fucking teddy bear.
Which just makes me angrier. I'm like, what? One of you knew there was a nanny cam there, if not at least both of you, and you're making out in front of it. And like, I know this is before you were streaming, so like, you're lucky you couldn't just like stream that shit to your phone right now. So dumbasses. And the door opens. So how did you feel about what happens now?
Oh, I jumped.
Yeah. Did you get a little scare there?
Yeah. This isn't the worst one in this episode, though. This one I jumped because you see a man's hands touch her shoulders and she jumps, but then she turns around because she knows him. So this is the husband. Is it Dan? Dan. And
but we don't really like as the viewers, like they don't show him, but you kind of get the concept that maybe,
it's a hint. But we see man's hands and she turns and she's obviously not scared. When she sees who it is, she ain't scared. And she's glad he's there. And he massages her shoulders and then punches her heart out.
Yep. And just goes clear right on through. And then she dead.
Yeah. Yeah. She did. And there's her beating heart is briefly in this hand. It's very weird. Yep.
As he walks out with her, like it's very like has this very awkward like walking out with it.
Yeah. Super weird. So we cut to the bunker where Sam is reading an article on his laptop about a suburban girl dying of a broken heart.
And that was really quick of them because that was yesterday.
Right. And Dean shuffles into the kitchen looking like he smells terrible and is in pain from the night before. And by in pain, I mean like hungover and overdid.
Hungover and smells like sex juice.
Sex and hangover.
Yeah.
And he tries to eat these really old Chinese leftovers, and I almost threw up.
Yeah, well, then he spits it out on the floor, which then that makes me ask the question, who's cleaning the bunker? Like,
that's a really good question.
I mean, I can see Sam, like, being kind of anal and then cleaning up after it, but he's not being homey, right? And so, are they bringing in somebody to clean it? And here is the also other thing. Lebanon, Kansas, where the bunker is, the population there is under like 200, and there's nothing but small towns around there. Like the closest, like quote unquote city, that's Salina, and that's almost like 2 hours away. So there's no way a man who looks like Dean Winchester is like going out to these local bars and not being noticed by all the girls that are there, right? So how is he not getting a girlfriend, a hookup, chicks just showing up outside the bunker, you know, like, or just a reputation where nobody would like touch him, right?
After a while,
or like he got chlamydia and like gave it to everyone, you know, like how
they travel a lot though. Like I feel like his,
I just feel like this is too small of a town for you to be like, you go outside. Yeah. I feel like you burnt this whatever happened this Valentine's Day, probably burnt Dean's card around the bunker. That's just what I'm saying.
Well, definitely has a hickey and needs coffee, and I'm glad he spit out the Chinese food leftovers because that made me want to vom. Yeah. But he was saying that he likes Valentine's Day. He was doing his duty for the single ladies, which also made me want to vom.
Mm-hmm. He's just being a fuckboy this episode. Such a fuckboy.
And then he's super judgy about Sam not being into it. It's annoying.
Yeah, that was also annoying.
So Sam's like, whatevs, look out this case.
And then we find out that not only was Stacey being cheated on, or like the girl that he was cheating on his wife with, she was fucking 19.
Yeah.
You gross ass, nasty ass son of a bitch. Ew, Dan. Ew.
And Dean is like, whatever. Is that even a case? It's not Amara. And then he's like, fine, okay, we can go check it out.
We can go because, a heart ripped out on Valentine's Day, Ironic Werewolf, which is the name of my next band.
So we cut to the house where this occurred.
Where that occurred. So baby hits the road. We go to Ohio. And so there is that feeling where I was about to, there's forensic cleaning services there. And I was like, oh, well, one, they're there fast. Like everything is moving very fast in this episode. The news got out. They got an article on it. And so the forensic services are there to clean up. And according to an undated article on how stuff works, and I think this is very dated, they said that it could cost between $1,000 and $5,000 to clean and to decontaminate. A homicide in a single room with a lot of blood in it might run up to $3,000, but that price will go up by the amount of grossness. First and Last Restoration said the cost can range from $500 to $25,000, or probably about $80 to $250 an hour, depending on the severity of the location and the cleanup required, right? Also, insurance, though, will often cover this. So if you have something that happens in your house, this is good to know. So it can often be covered under auto, homeowners, or business insurance. In the case of homicide, the company usually sends the bill to the Federal Crime Victim Reparations Agency, which provides financial assistance towards the price of remediation. And then in some communities, like churches and stuff, may help out too. So on Reddit 6 years ago, a guy named Nick Anthony Zamuckin of BioOne, a brand that sells crime cleaning services, said that in Greenwood, Colorado, he made $1.2 million a month with 5 employees doing crime cleanup. There is, however, a high investment to get into the cleanup business, including making sure you stay in compliance with the local regulations, and you also have to have your own insurance. Now, the Bureau of Labor Statistics does not specifically list crime scener as an occupation, but because it involves dealing with blood and bloody tissues, they say that it falls under hazardous materials removal workers heading. And the median annual crime scene or cleaner salary, though, in 2019 was $43,900. So I would say that if you're going to do crime cleaning, you should be an entrepreneur and start your own business, because you're not going to make I think it's a better return on your time and your money. So if you're cleaning up blood, like, you need to own that shit. So that's my opinion on the crime scene.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I'm still
your next business endeavor?
Maybe. As I said, there's some investment getting started into it, and it's a pretty depressing business. I don't want to be. I know like when it's happened, those things are always like really like awful to deal with, and I don't have the emotional bandwidth for that. I don't think. Yeah, no, but I mean, I can handle the gross, but I don't.
All the stuff around, all the people and things around it.
If I could just have the gross and not the people, I would be fine. But having to deal with emotions of that stuff, that's too much for my nerves.
Yeah.
But but these guys are there, and they're in PPE, and they're just cleaning up around Melissa and Dan.
Yeah, because they're just like standing around, kind of like with their backs turned to it, but nearby while this is happening. It's weird. It's
a strange. I don't feel like this is how the situation goes, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, and Sam and Dean are there, and they are getting the rundown from Melissa and Dan of what happened. And then Dan makes this comment about how anyone who met Stacy fell in love with her.
You're an idiot, Dan. Of course she fucking knew. Sorry, I'm gonna spoil that later. Of course your wife knew, you fucking idiot. You're so stupid. This man cannot cheat. I think that's why I hate him even more. You're a bad cheater. If you're at least gonna be if you're gonna be a crook, if you're gonna be a criminal, if you're gonna do bad shit, do it well. Good at it.
Yeah. So Dean's like, well, maybe this was a crime of passion with his heart ripped out. Maybe they ponder if it was a robbery, but the only thing missing is a nanny cam. And in the background, our forensic dudes are loading up a very bloody sofa. It is splattered everywhere. And they're So Sam and Dean are going to depart, while Sam is going to go to the morgue and Dean is going to go to Dan's office to see if he can talk to him one-on-one.
Take a sick day, buddy. Someone was murdered in your house. They just took a bloody couch out. I'm pretty sure you don't have to go to work today. So we go from there to said morgue, and Sam is there with the coroner, medical examiner, whatever she is. I'm sure there's a way to tell, but they're stumped.
Yeah, but they know that she was conscious when her heart was ripped out. I feel like you would know if they were alive by the autopsy, but I don't know how you know if they were conscious. That's my observational question that I don't have an answer to. But
I'm sure as I didn't research that. I was looking at forensic crime scenes.
No, and then I was just pondering that. And then but the coroner does say that they would typically have assumed this was an animal attack, but there was no claws.
Yeah, and there's no other markings everywhere. It's just like this very nice, clean hole all the way through.
So Dean gets to Dan's office, and Dan is being totally not sus and doesn't know anything about technology because he is just like staring at Stacy's Facebook page.
Yeah, until his secretary comes in and tells him that Agent Weller is there going underground, and he hides it. And he's just like, oh no, I'm not looking at anything here.
So Dan just calls it out, or Dean calls out Dan and is just like, you're banging the babysitter, right?
Well, and he does it with like eyes, right? Because basically it's like, play it straight, like fucking Stacey. Yeah. And he's just like, eyes, look at me.
Mm-hmm. And then finally he's like, I want to tell you what's going on, but I can't because it's just too weird. But I definitely did have the nanny cam, but I'm the one that took it. And it was having an affair, but I took the nanny cam because we definitely kissed in front of it and I forgot about it. So I needed to take that, but look at this. And he pops the memory card out of the nanny cam and puts it into the computer because we see the person come through the sliding doors, massage Stacey's shoulders, punch her heart out and leave. And it was Dan. He's looking at himself.
It wasn't me.
Yeah.
Shaggy defense. Wasn't me. Even though you saw me punching through her heart. Wasn't me. So Dean's like, all right, Shaggy, I'm going to take this SD card. And that holds up all this memory. But I just really want to know how this teddy worked back then. But actually he believes Dan.
Yeah, because he sees something in it, but he tells Dan to keep a lid on it while he looks into it. So Dean goes back to this motel room where Sam's at, and Sam's got nothing. But Dean's
is sitting on the couch in this white button up, which is very 50 Shades of Grey to me. But he's found nothing.
Well, Dean's like, look what I have. He's got this memory card to show, and Sam's like, I thought he was at dinner, and he's like, it's not Dan.
And in the camera they can catch a flare, and so we can see by their light and their eyes that that's a shapeshifter person
of some kind. Yeah. So back at Dan's office, his secretary checks on him and he's like, I'm fine.
And then she's like kind of pointedly being like, maybe you should go home and be with your family, you dick. Like, like someone was just murdered in your house.
Your
maybe
wife is probably
with your wife and baby. Maybe? I don't know.
Good idea.
You stay here working instead. That's fine.
And then she goes to the elevator and she's just standing there politely and some fucking bitch gets off the elevator and shoulder checks her.
Yeah, and she's got really cute boots on though.
Yeah. And this bitch that got off the elevator comes around to Dan's office and it's Stacy. Stacy's supposed to be dead. So he is super confused. And she says, I want you to give me your heart.
Give me your heart. Yeah. What a pun. And she takes her nicely manicured hands and rips out his chest all the way through a cubicle wall.
Yeah. Punches his heart out and walks away. So we go the next day. We've got Dean talking to his secretary. Gladys, his assistant, actually. And she's like, no, I just remember this rude, buxom 19-year-old.
Buxom? Gladys? Why are you using the word buxom?
What the fuck, Gladys? It was just funny. I was like,
are you a 1940s mall? Like,
I don't know. It's so weird. And Sam confirms with a photo that was her. So now they know it was the shifter. And so now they're sure that Melissa is behind this all.
Well, Dean's not really sure. He thinks. He is laying odds that Melissa is the shifter.
Yes. So they have to go see her, of course. And she's holding 2 bottles, but the baby's not there because the baby's with grandma. And why are these bottles half full? Did she just have these laying around? That's not how that... I'm not trying to judge. I don't know. Seems weird.
Tegan was not very hungry. Tegan has an eating disorder because her name is Tegan. Of course she does. So, but Sam is just like, look, I gotta ask you something. Get uncomfortable. Did you know that your husband was fucking your 19-year-old babysitter? And
she's like, I did. But I still loved him and thought we had a chance to fix it.
Girl.
So Dean's like, hey.
I'm breaking into Destiny's Child. Girl.
So I'm going to let it go. Girl made her choice.
Oh, girl. So Dean's just like, here's a pen and a card. Write down your number, which is a good way to be like, touch my silver.
Touch my silver pen.
It's but a heavy pen too. I guess it could just be silver plated. That would probably have the same effect, but
I guess. But it doesn't phase her. So now we know that Melissa is not the shapeshifter. And Sam's like, well, by the way, we're at this motel if you need anything. And yeah. So Dean's like, they leave, and Dean's like, I want a beer and to go find some more chicks.
He wants to be a fuckboy in Ohio. Because the fuckboy...
He's burned Lebanon, Kansas.
Well, maybe his dick is burning by now. But so Sam is going to go hit the lure while Dean goes and does like super... He's just being super Dean Winchester. Like an older version of Dean that we haven't seen in a while. Which is kind of good, but also kind of weird. I guess he's likely compensating for something is what we will figure out. But so Melissa, though, she may not be a shifter, but she may be shifty.
Oh, there you go. Because she watches them leave and then runs to this hidden box full of witchy stuff and starts shoving it down the drain without the disposal or the water running.
Okay. First off, that's not how you use your garbage disposal, Melissa. Okay. Second, I don't want to be misogynistic here, but I don't think you know how to fix a garbage disposal and your husband is dead. So I would not put sage in a disposal. We do not put our sages in the disposal. We certainly don't put a fucking cat skull in our disposal. That is how you break in the disposal. Then you have to have the repairman come out and explain to him why there's a fucking cat skull in your garbage disposal.
Yeah.
Also, just turn on your goddamn water before you put shit in there.
I mean, she eventually does. It's just annoying as shit.
No, man.
To watch. But she's calling a number that's programmed in her phone as the Art of Dying and saying that she messed up, Dan's dead, and the FBI is asking questions.
You don't leave that on a voicemail.
No, you don't leave that voicemail. Do not leave that voicemail.
If I'm like the person that we learned it would be, I mean, fuck you, man. Like, I'm just never... What? A new iPhone? Who dis? I would go get a new phone completely.
Well, later on that evening, she's having her glass of wine
that
she deserves.
Yeah, no, but she has my glass of wine. She poured a bottle of wine into that glass because that is a big glass. It's a big ass glass.
It is a big glass of wine. That's like when I have like my glass of wine and it's half a bottle. Yes.
Yeah, it's your glass of wine. Is the whole the bottle is a glass. So. Yeah. Someone is knocking at the door and it's 2016 and there isn't a doorbell camera.
Yeah. And
so you don't know who's on the other side. It's even worse.
She's got a peephole.
Somebody has shown up in person and you can't tell who they are. That's even worse, man.
She has a peephole.
But you have to like go look at it and then like they can see you like your eye from the other side.
Ugh. Well, she does, and it's fucking Dan. Dan's supposed to be dead, and he's doing this real creepy knock, and he wants to be let in, and that he loves her, and then she's backing away, terrified, as you should be, and he punches a hole through the solid door to reach through to unlock it and let himself in.
Yeah, and at least she had the bottom lock, even if she didn't have the deadbolt locked. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But then we start going through Melissa's fight school, and she just like grabs the water hose from the sink and just gives him the hose.
Yeah,
but oddly, that doesn't work.
Yeah, And she's like trying to
it's much like, you know, she's
in
your kitchen when you're trying to find I had to kill one of the arthropods, whatever you call it, a scorpion. I had to kill one with a knife this morning. It was hardcore slaying of a scorpion in my sink. So
just call you Scorpion Slayer from now on.
I am Scorpion Slayer. So she's like, all right, like water, that won't work. Let me try throwing some flowers at you.
And then she's like, this is all bad. And she runs out the door, luckily. So we go to the Too Tired Motel, which sign is really cute.
I would say at the Too Tired Motel if I was driving down the road.
And Dean pulls up after trying to bang some chicks somewhere while Sam is researching. And apparently neither of them had any luck. And Dean wants to know what a dad bod is.
Aww, we all know, Dean, you really do not have one.
No, you don't.
I don't think Mr. Ackles, like even what you said, you had a keg for instead of a 6-pack. Like, sir, I really doubt like your abs have seen anything but a 6-pack in like 30 years. Right. So, he opens their unlocked door, and so someone comes pounding on the door, and Melissa comes in, and she locks the door, which is at least we find like pointless, but at least she locks the door.
Yeah. And she's like, Dan tried to kill me. And Dean's like, wait, your dead husband? And she's like, yes, it's all my fault. I loved him, but I loved him too much. And I just wanted him to love me back. So I told my hairdresser about his affair because women do that. And then she said she knew how to get him back. And she was a white witch.
And then I cackled hysterically because this woman listened to somebody who called herself one. I thought about doing a whole thing about white witch versus black witch and, you know, like and dark magic versus white magic. Cause, you know, we can really go into that and rip it apart and like how most of that is just, even if you go deep into magic, like there's maybe not good magic or bad magic. There's just magic, but it depends on like, anyways, there's a whole lot to be broken down there, but also just calling anybody a white witch makes me cackle.
It sounds kind of silly.
It's really dumb. And they use the words way too much in this episode. Wow. So she has been given a return to love spell, which she figured out that she just had to chant, and all you got to do is steal it with a kiss, and we get a flashback to them kissing, and it just looks sadder.
And Sam's like, I would like a copy of that spell, please, so I can look at this and research it. And she just happens to be carrying it with her.
No, it's good. I mean,
which is convenient, but
it is convenient. Weird. I mean, at least it's surprised it's not just like isn't a text message on her phone.
Yeah. And Sam does his research. We have some time passed, and he's like, "It's not a spell; it's an Aramaic curse."
Don't like that categorization because Aramaic is a language, and maybe you could go into like specific times of it. But anyways, I don't like that. But there's no lore because it was the quote unquote white witches home cooking.
White witches home cooking. But it's transmittable by a kiss, like magic STD is what they say. So Melissa's like, I killed them both. And he's like, no, it's on the witch, not you.
Yeah, so that happens, and then basically they go through like, it's coming for you, Melissa. It's coming for you, but we won't let it happen.
And then the glass shatters, and I almost died because it scared me so bad.
That was like a jump scare. Yeah.
It was a terrible jump scare. Terrible. Anyways, Dan's there, and he wants to walk in and just he's gonna break the glass window and just roll right in.
He smacks the shit out of Sam, and then Dean's like, "Well, I am just going to shoot you with all the bullets in my gun
with silver bullets too."
Yep, and that did not work. And so then he is like, "Let's make out."
Yeah, so he makes out with Melissa, and then Sam is able to hit Dan with a chair, which is just enough to knock him off. And then and he's pissed at Dean for kissing Melissa because now Dean's the target. So they run outside the baby and drive away. And we see our Dan shift into something else in a silhouette in the window.
Yeah.
So Sam and Dean pull baby over on the side of the road and get out with leaving Melissa in the car and just start discussing and going through trunk. So we have a trunk sighting.
Yay, trunk.
Yay.
Yeah. And Sam is at least venting things that we've all thought at some point about Dean Winchester. You don't have to be a martyr. You don't have to be the guinea pig to figure out how to solve this curse, Mr. Winchester.
Correct.
But Dean's just like, I want credit for figuring it out because I'm smart. Word.
Yeah. So, yeah. And then Melissa gets out of the car. Like, what the fuck was that? What the fuck is happening? And what the hell is this trunk?
Yeah.
Which is all very reasonable.
I think so.
And Dean's like, I think it's a shapeshifter, but I didn't flinch at the silver. And she's like, you're not FBI, are you?
Even if it's not a shapeshifter, it's still shifting shapes.
Correct. And
she sells seashells by the seashore. So shapeshifter is still shifting shapes. And then Dean's like, what do you know about the White Witch? And then it's like, oh, I mean, sorry, there's just like, it's like her name is Sonia. And then she's kind of weird. And she's only been doing my hair for a couple of months, but I still trusted her with this. And so it's in the spell. I mean, yeah, she is my hairdresser. So
yeah, there you go. She's my hairdresser. So we are going to go to the salon.
To the Art of Dying, where Dean gets to have a dad joke. It was like, can't say she didn't warn her.
So they want Melissa to stay in the car armed with a knife. And she's like, wait, what? And he's like, yeah, no, you probably need to stay here. So.
Yep. But then he has to like pump her up because she's like, I can't use this knife. And he's like, yo, she is a wicked witch who offed your husband and tried to kill you. You punch her, you stab her, you drop a freaking house on her if you have to.
Mm-hmm. And
hey,
they go,
stop dropping houses on witches. All right. So they go
inside this one.
I don't know, maybe this one. But they go inside the salon, which has no alarm.
Yeah. And he's trying to think of which killing bullets. He wants a better name for
Sam
those.
cocks his gun, and now is the time that he decides to tell Dean that he's using witch killing bullets in his gun. They didn't strategize this about this at car. No. Okay.
Not when they were at Trunk. They didn't talk about anything at Trunk other than like kind of telling Melissa they're hunters, but not really saying it, not explaining what that means, and just getting ready to go to the salon. That's all they did.
And maybe if he had a witch go bag, they would just know that he had the witch killing bullets in it. You just need to be more organized in your trunk. But Dean does want a better name for witch killing bullets, so they never give us one, and I'm very disappointed by that.
Correct. But they're also standing inside
like
the salon.
Like, I mean, is WKB like a good name for it? Like, I feel like we're going to go acronym. We're going to talk about what they do. Like, there's so many ways you can go in this marketing, right? And just be like,
missed opportunity.
Like, because you can be like what it does, like, or bitch witch.
Which bitch?
Right.
I don't know.
Which bitch? Which bitch bullets? I like which bitch bullets.
I like which bitch bullets.
Yep.
There we go.
All right. So as they're not coming up with the brilliant witch bitch bullets, what they should have.
Standing in the window with flashlights as cars are driving by inside the salon, and I was dying. I'm sorry. I thought that was hilarious.
I would have been I would have peed every time a car went by, right? So, like, how do you do this? But they break into houses a lot more often than we do. And so now they've got to open a door and go into a dark basement.
Of course.
Which thankfully is very organized.
It is. It's a lot of storage and a desk. So, I mean, that's reasonable. And a little bit of construction. But, and the desk in the basement has a locked drawer. Because of course it does.
Because it's a desk in a business.
Well, no. So Sam manages to pop it open and finds hex bags and a book. And they figure out.
Yeah, it looks like a grimoire. There's a sigil in the front of it.
Yeah. And what does he learn in the book?
All right, so he learns in the book that it's stuff about a Qareen. And Sam says, it's a creature, corporeal in form, a slave to your commands. And Dean's like, kind of like a genie. And Sam's like, well, I guess. So, and then he tells him that someone chants a curse, lays a wet one on you. Then the victim is seduced and killed by the Qareen. And instead of taking the form of Barbara Eden, they present themselves as your deepest, darkest desire. And then you kill it by stabbing in the heart. And the person who possesses it can command it. Right. So we're going to talk about whether or not what Sam said is somewhat fine, but it's not. So let's talk about lore. Anyhow, So much of this is coming from Rosemary Ellen Guiley's The Vengeful Jinn, unveiling the hidden agenda of genies. Did you know they had hidden agendas?
The hidden agenda of genies.
Yes.
Okay.
And they say, her findings were based on Middle Eastern lore, which is passed down from oral traditions, and also English translations of the Quran, and not from the original Arabic. So keep that in mind as we're going through. Just, some things may be lost in translation, and also things that are passed down in ancient when, things telephone. Things change. Yeah. So a qareen, also known as a qarin, which is what I'll be referring it to as for the rest of this, translates to constant companion from Arabic. And it, like I said, it's a fairly old concept. It appeared in pre-Islamic texts. And because of that, there are varying opinions on its exact nature. In general terms, though, it is a spirit that accompanies a human, usually from birth. And in the Islamic tradition, in addition to the concept of a guardian angel providing protection and guidance, there is a traditional concept of 2 recording angels on each shoulder who record everything you do so that it can be reported on Judgment Day, right? But then there also is another tradition where the one's an evil jinn or genie, and the other is the angel. And so the angel's telling you to do the good things, and the bad one's trying to entice you to do the bad things. So the devil on your shoulder, angel, right. That concept. So every person is said to have a qarin assigned to them at birth as their companion spirit. And like I said, there's multiple interpretations of what that spirit is and what their intentions are. But in some case, it is like that one that's on your shoulder trying to lure somebody into temptation. But in most cases, are very similar to a jinn. They're just maybe like a different genus or species, right? Like related, but not the same. Right. Or sometimes it is an actual jinn. Some say that they're there for companionship, comfort, and protection against evil jinn, and the others say they're there to lead their assigned person astray, and that's more fun to talk about. So we're going to talk about that part. So the wicked qarin gain their power and their strength from their person giving in to temptation and evil. And the only way to take away their power is by living a righteous life, right? So qarins come in both genders and which one you were assigned. Again, this varies on which version you ascribe to. In the versions where the jinn assigned is opposite gender to the person, they are very jealous of any love interests, and they're responsible for interfering with relationships, right? So they'll get jealous and break up like your would-be husband through various means of trickery, right? They're basically, they're also a trickster. And some of them can get jealous if you even just look in the mirror too much because you're admiring yourself and not them. If they are to please the person who has the qarin, they can get headaches, generally just get sick. They can have nightmares, unexplained bruises, insomnia, depression, loss of appetite. All these things can happen, but you can try and take control of them. However, if you try to enslave them and you fail, then they can kill you or they can make you sick.
That's you can't.
Yeah, it's risky, right? And there are professionals that you can seek to help you. They can do a banishing ritual. That is also risky. You can summon them without meaning to just by talking about them. So, it is recommended that you speak of them either in whispers or use euphemisms like them and those other people. I think that's also risky in terms of just cancellation possibilities. So I would not use those terms. There have long been stories of humans marrying and banging jinn. I believe we have spoken about this before and about the people in the United Arab Emirates who claim they're descended from a line of jinn. There's also some traditions and beliefs when men cannot find a proper wife, they will find a priest or a sheikh who can marry them to a jinn. And with that comes with consequences. And that includes jealousy and the need to, if you're a dude and you marry a jinn wife, you have to constantly talk nicely about your jinn wife. Otherwise you will be driven insane and possessed to do horrible things. And if you look at any other woman, that will also make your married qarin crazy. And so you need to talk nice about the jinn that you married, and don't cheat on her. Don't look at other women, or is she going to drive you nuts? Also, Season 11. We have moved away from the sex magic era, and we have moved into the era of boob folklore. So here we go. So with the Qareen, you were supposed to knock before you enter any room so as not to surprise them. This story was told to Guiley about someone's cousin who was married to an evil genie. At least that's what I got from her stuff. So, quote, for a year, he and his Jinn wife had lived happily together, and they even had a son. One day, the man forgot about the stipulation of knocking before entering, and he stumbled upon a horrifying scene. The Jinn had taken on a different shape. She was hairy and ugly, with vertical eyes in her black face. She was cooking, and their child was crying hungrily in the other room. The moment the man entered, he saw her breast, black and ugly, passing by on its own to feed the baby.
Her boobs walked off?
Her boobs split from her body to nurse the baby. And that is practical as fuck. And I don't understand why we haven't gotten the science yet. I approve of this, but apparently he freaked her out, and she ran off, taking away her baby, and yeah. So her boob. Maybe she left the boob. That'd be kind of awesome to leave the boob behind. Does it have to go back? How does it reattach? Right? Does it what happens? Is it just? I want to know more about this.
I'm leaving and I'm taking my tit with me. That's what she used to say.
Yeah, it's not leaving you my titty. I have to know more about is this something that happens often in this folklore that I have been missing out on? So, all right. Enough of the titty folklore. If the Jinn was a Qareen, and the Jinn could become something called a Makhawi, I'm probably saying that very incorrectly. It's Makhawi, which is a term for Jinn that fall in love with a human. And so if it's a woman marrying the Qareen, then she has other stipulations on hers. Things that are she is forbidden from ever disclosing their true nature. So she can't get Gabby with her girlfriends and be like, right. Oh my God, did I tell you about Tony? Tony is a genie. You can't say that. If he does that, it says that you will be mistreated.
Don't tell your hairdresser.
Badly. Don't tell your hairdresser that your husband is more than human. So you can protect yourself from this, and if you want to keep evil Jinn away, so this would be a non-attached evil Qareen, right? If you wanted to get them away, you read the second chapter of the Quran at night for 3 days, or just in general, don't be immoral, right? Which I think is easy peasy. So if you be a good person, then you're fine. Yeah. But also, disconnected titty, maybe my next album.
Amazing.
Right. Yeah. So we go back into our motel. Wherever we're at, we're talking about things. We've fled the motel.
We're at the salon.
Salon.
We're at the salon. And so Dean's amused by this because he doesn't think it's a curse after all, because he's excited to get FaceTime with Daisy Duke. That's his deepest, darkest desire since he was 7 years old. So
does she come with her Jeep?
Well, Sam is clarifying that this is Bach, not Simpson. And he's like, either one.
No,
either one, which I really appreciated because, by the way, Jessica Simpson had a lovely dress on at the VMAs. I did not watch them, but I saw a picture of her and I will send it to you. But
not as good as Lady Gaga, who looks like Nadia.
Oh yeah,
she was doing full on Nadia channeling, and it was amazing. So the boys play rock, paper, scissors, and this is the first time in the history of Supernatural and of the Winchester's lore that Dean has ever won rock, paper, scissors. So he is fucking stoked.
So they have to go find the Qareen's heart because it's hidden somewhere in the salon, they're sure. But
much like her titty. So maybe that's
her heart. Maybe it wasn't her titty, it was a heart.
Oh yeah, so maybe that's where they got that from. Okay, I'm running with this now. All right, we're on board.
So Sam is going to go upstairs to look for it in the hairdresser's stuff and starts poking around in cabinets while Dean stays in the basement looking around. And he finds a locked metal box, pops it open, and we have a heart. But we also have Sonia, the hairdresser.
Red Sonja has appeared.
And she's handling Sam. A chair. Yeah.
With her magic. She's like,
so Dean in the basement hears a noise, calls out, and we have an Amara sighting. But we know, and he knows, this is not actually Amara. This is the manifestation of Dean's deepest, darkest desire.
This is Quamara.
Quamara?
Yeah, that's what I started calling her. We've gotten to Quamara. So, Quamara is like, all right, so it was before we get to that part. So he's just like, you don't have a heart. And so upstairs, though, Sonia has tied up Sam, who has ID'd him as a hunter. So at least she knows, like, she's not a dumb bitch. Like, she knows.
And she knows.
And she has a villain speech to give.
And he's like, but you're just a witch hucking death curses as love spells. And she's like, I want to punish these men.
And, okay, I'm not going to lie. She may have some points here because she's like, the only thing worse than cheating men are the cheating men who get away with it, right? So we have that first part there, and then I'm just going to jump ahead because we're twitching things, right? But she's really pissed off about the women who like let these guys cheat on them and then come back for more, and then it's just a different guy, right? And so these girls who just keep dating guys who cheat on them over and over again and then come whine in her chair about like, why is this guy cheating on me? Like the other 500 guys that they dated before. So I get it, Sonia.
But she thinks so she's killing the women too because she thinks she's weeding out the idiots.
And so don't agree with your solution to your problem, Sonia, but I can get why you're frustrated at this. I can understand. I would also be, if I was a hairdresser, I would probably be like, ugh. But also, she says Sam is nuts, but she really could have killed him by now. I just like, she has a pen, just like stab him. Like, I don't understand. So then we go downstairs to Quamara.
And she's talking about how she can see inside Dean's heart, and he's cloaked in shame, but he can't help himself.
Which is really kind of, I think is an interest. We're getting some interesting breakdown of the Dean Amara desire relationship thing, right? But then Sonia starts the Aramaic strangle spell, and it involves like mushing a lot, but Melissa runs in and she's just like, no, Sonia, stop, I have a knife and I have no idea how to hold it, I'm just gonna hold it awkwardly, very awkwardly,
while Kamara and Dean now are officially in a full fight in the basement, and Melissa's like, Sonia, enough is enough, and it's just enough time that Dean is able to distract her, Sam is able to distract, jeez, I can't even talk.
So
Sonia's distracted. Sam gets a gun.
Melissa, and Sam shoots Sonia while Dean and Kamara are fighting. And so Kamara is almost about to rip out Dean's heart, but then she disappears right after Sam shoots Sonia.
Because Sam is able to stab the heart immediately after stabbing. He shoots Sonia, stabs the heart. Dean survives. Fake Kamara turns into like this weird dissolving into dust implosion of blue light.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. And Sam's just like comes in and he's like, well, are you good? You good here?
Yeah. So Sam did not see Quamara. Yeah. And that's where we're at while they go back to the motel. Where Sam,
nobody has called the cops.
Nobody's called the cops. The window's smashed out. They did leave cash. They did leave cash for the window, which I appreciated. But Sam wants to hear from Dean about Daisy Duke. And Dean is actually honest and says it was not. It was Amara. What? And Sam does not seem surprised, but asks if Dean was surprised. And Dean was like, she can't be my deepest, darkest desire because that would make me complicit in evil, right? Like he's asking Sam for reassurance. And Sam's like, well, do you think that you had a choice? I think she picked you out of the whole universe.
He's so open-minded and so not judging him. Right?
Yeah, it's very interesting. And Dean's like, I want her dead. And he is like, and Sam's like, I know that, but how bad is this really? And he's like, when I'm standing here without her, when she's not here, I want to kill her. That's all I want to do. But when she's nearby, I can't do it. Can't do it. Just can't.
He's screwed. But we want to kill the darkness. We need to kill the darkness.
So they agree that when it comes down to it, Sam has to kill Amara.
And so Sam has got it. Sam's got this, right?
Sam's got it.
And Dean leaves, and then Sam follows as a breeze kind of blows through all the broken window, and then you'd hear one of the sound recordings of Baby's engine starting.
Yep.
And that's our episode. So do we have? I guess we got some Melissas and we got some Dans.
Casting couch. It's the casting couch. Were they on that show that time with that guy? La 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 la.
Yeah, so Melissa Harper was played by Luciana Caro. She's been in episodes of L Word, Smallville, and NCIS. She was a waitress in White Chicks. She was in a reoccurring character named Lorraine in Battlestar Galactica. She was Sam in Blades of Glory, and Crazy Lee in Falling Skies as a recurring character as well. And then Dan Harper was played by Jim Thornburn. He's been in episodes of Degrassi Next Generation, Smallville, Fringe, The Fixer, Superman and Lois, and a whole bunch of Hallmark. Sonia was played by Venus Terzo. She's been in episodes of 21 Jump Street, Dead Like Me, and Frequency. She was Cindy in It, the 90s version. She was Glory in Lonesome Dove. She was a hostage negotiator in Skyscraper, and Dr. Schwartz in Arrow as a reoccurring character.
Schwartz.
She's done a ton of voice work dating back to the 90s, including the He-Man, Ranma, Sonic, the Hedgehog, Darkstalkers, and X-Men Evolution.
Sonic the Hedgehog with teeth?
Yeah. And then our Gladys, our office assistant, was played by Lucia Walters. Episodes of X-Files, Smallville, 4400, Tin Man, iZombie, Prison Break, Good Doctor, and Reginald the Vampire. She was in 50. She was a smaller.
Was she in 50 Shades of Grey?
50 Shades Darker.
Nice.
So, yeah. And then she was Julia, a reoccurring character on Virgin River recently. Our coroner was played by Carmen Aguirre, and she's been in episodes of Tin Man, V, Riverdale, and Superman and Lois. And she was the hotel maid in Best in Show, and was a Spanish teacher in the Santa Claus 2. And Stacy was played by Zoe Frazier. She played herself in a short that she wrote and produced called Worst Day Ever.
Stacey, you got to go it on. Cool. Yeah. Sorry that you were 19 in this episode and a man took advantage of you. And then you died. So what do you think about for I guess the reoccurring supernatural Valentine's Day episodes, right?
Mm-hmm. I thought this was, I thought it was an interesting take. I liked how they used the force of the deepest, darkest secret to force the storyline of Dean's tie to Amara. I thought this was a really clever way to do that.
Yeah, no, they definitely pushed that through and got some clarification on Dean's feelings for Amara. I'm glad that him and Sam are
talked about it.
Seem to be the grown-ups about this at least one thing.
It's crazy. They had like an honest conversation about this. It's so weird.
Yeah. And so, to go back to what I was talking in the beginning about the projection, right, of going back to fuckboy Dean Winchester as him trying to cover up for what he's feeling for the darkness, right, and how his confusion for that is. I don't know. I don't know if that regression of, I guess maybe it's like if that regression of the Winchester of him was necessary for that, right? Because he has grown so much, and I can see it, but I can see him falling back to, right?
I can too, because I feel like if he's in a state where he can't, address his own emotions, and it's Valentine's Day, and he just has an excuse to be gross, he's going to be gross. That's right.
Yeah, but then he was gross after Valentine's Day, and then he smelled. Because Dean, you got to realize you got to shower after sex, like before you even come home. Like you should probably shower before you. I mean, like unless it's super sketchy,
you get back to
like
the house, just take a shower.
Like why are you sitting? No, that's just and that's how people get UTIs. You know, it just is. It's unhygienic. You should shower.
Yes.
All right. So on that note, shower after sex, you people, and cheers, jerks.
Cheers, bitch.
Devil's Trap Podcast is a Don't Be a Dick production. Meow.
Devil's Trap Podcast is part of the Ship It Studios podcast network. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Devil's Trap Podcast. You can follow us on Instagram at Devil's Trap Podcast, Twitter at Devil's Trap Pod, or you can email us at devilstrap@devilstrappodcast.com. Don't forget to subscribe, leave reviews, and share with all your friends. We're at all your favorite podcast outlets and at devilstrappodcast.com. I'm Babe. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
Going up to the spirit in the skies. That's where I'm gonna go.